Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Welcome in. Welcome to March, which obviously means basketball picks up at a different level now. So, for us especially, playoffs start this week. Thursday night, we found out last night when North Kansas City played Winnetonka. North Kansas City won the game, so that means that we will see them on Thursday night at 7:45 in the first round of district play. Um, Before we got to that point, though, last week, to wrap up last week, we had two road games. We went on the road to William Chrisman, able to win that game by 15. Had a couple guys in double figures. Wansing and Burns really stepped up and played well, had double figures. Hughes was limited, had 7, so it was nice to see some other guys step up and make plays. And then Friday night, we went over to Raytown with the chance. Tuesday night when we won, we clinched at least a share of the conference title. Raytown was in second place with 1 loss, and the 1 loss was to us. So we went over there on Friday night to play them. Knew if we won it outright. We were able to win by 5 in a really good high school game, really good basketball game. Two teams that have some strengths. We're playing to them, tried to take away the opponent's strengths. Was just a really good game. Able to win that, so we finished our conference season undefeated at 12-0. Our second conference title, first since 2013. But it meant something to these guys to win it outright. Tuesday night we had a share of it, but it really meant something to them to go and finish it, and their focus and their execution of it was really neat to see. And that kind of wrapped up that part of our season, and now an entirely different season starts. So we're excited for it. Our guys are excited for it. We've had some success in the postseason. Number one reason we have is because we got really good players, and so we're hoping to get these guys playing really well, starting on Thursday, and see where this thing takes us. But with that, open it up to questions from you all.
So what have you as the head coach done to create a family atmosphere, not only for your players, but for North Nation as well?
Well, so I'm glad I don't have to, think about this too hard, because I think the biggest thing that I come back to when I get asked something like that is our players. Our players are extensions of their peers, their student body. You guys sit in class with these guys, you're friends with these guys, you see them around in the cafeteria. So they're you. They're the everyday kid, just like you guys are. Their talents are on display in a different way than some of your talents are, and they have an appreciation and a respect for kind of how to earn that, how to perform at that level, yet still be mindful of how much bigger it is than just them. There's so many people that go into making something like this possible, and so they're humble. And I think that endears themselves to people. People don't like arrogance. People don't like, people who tell them how good they are. So there's a humbleness to them. There's a workman-like quality where, they work really hard. They care a lot. They work hard. They want each other to do well. And people enjoy that. When you can enjoy other people's success just as much as you can enjoy your own, that's pretty neat. And for the most part, we've got that with our guys. And so I think that connects with people in a way. But then the other thing is just over time, we've had success. If we haven't had success, I don't know if people would be so excited. And that's the reality of it. But we've had success, and people have enjoyed watching and coming, and we certainly love having them there. So, I don't know. It's a good thing to reflect on when the season's over and see kind of if we can connect some dots. But, those are just some of the things that we think about.
We've seen some major support in the stands for most of these games. How much does that affect the players on the court?
Well, I think it really impacts them. It impacts them from the sense of there's this level of pride that all these people came to watch us. We need to perform for them, and at times that could be a little bit of a burden or pressure that they feel, because they don't want to let those people down. They want to play well, and so at times the great crowds might put a little extra pressure on us at the start. But then when we look back about some of the games over the last, let's just say, 2 years, you know, you think about, for instance, the court warming game this year. You know, we were down 6 right before half, then Michael hits that shot. The crowd goes crazy at that point. And I've always said, like, people want to talk about that shot a lot. Well, I get it, but the thing is the crowd really wasn't into the game a lot because we were playing like crap. So, like, they were just like, man, you know, and they were kind of sitting on their hands, so to speak. Well, then we hit the shot, everybody gets a little bit more excited, and then they come out. In the second half, and there was that buzz. You reflect back on our Park Hill South game, our tournament championship game here. That was nuts. You look at the Liberty game in districts last year, the way that did. So that they're a huge part of it. I think the questions are almost, you can answer some of the things the same way because the crowd does impact us, but it is because they are us. We are them, and that's the way that we see it.
How is playing Liberty next year going to change how you coach? And
it won't change at all for me. It'll change the gossip before the game. It'll change the fan dialogue before the game. It'll change what the media writes, but it won't change anything that we do. One of the reasons we do things the way that we do is so that our guys don't feel any extra pressure. So this week we play North Kansas City on Thursday, and we're going to go through our same preparation today and tomorrow as we would for a Friday night game at any point in the year. Our scatter report's going to look the same, our video's going to look the same, our practice preparation's going to be the same. And the reason we do that is, one, we want routine and we want these guys to feel comfortable, but two is if we don't give that to them, then I think they lose a little bit of confidence and they start to kind of wonder, why is coach doing this? So if I was to put any more importance on a game, or if I was to you know, hype one game up over the other, the guys are going to sense that and they're going to see it and they're going to say, why is coach doing this? And that might impact our performance. So trying to maintain the level, consistency, and of your approach is important to us.
As the season approaches quickly, what are your players doing to make the most of every minute on the court?
Well, just that, just making sure that what we're doing matters. Every detail that we're working on matters. Every scouting report matters. Practices are shorter, but that doesn't mean that they're not as intense. That doesn't mean that they don't carry as much of an importance. So in the early season, when you're going 2.5 hours, you know, your guys are exhausted. They're physically tired and mentally tired too. At this point in the season, what you're trying to do is keep them fresh. So, you know, instead of maybe getting a ton of live reps, again, in our zone defense, we'll just walk through it and show guys some tape of it. And so then we're spending more time on shooting and skills and making sure the guys are getting, you know, their skill refinement and their confidence level up with that. So, again, you know, we're just approaching it day by day to work as hard as we can to, you know, enjoy it as much as we can, and then when the opportunity comes to play, you just try to play as well as you can. And I'm not smart enough to do it any other way. It's the way we've done it. It's the way we're going to do it, and hopefully that gives guys a lot of confidence.
You spoke on this a little bit already. North Kansas City is 10-3 this year. It could be easy to overlook them in this next game. How are you guys preparing to make sure that they're not overlooked?
Well, it's at this point in the year, the games carry for people and for us. We try not to. I think again it goes back to one of the questions I was answering earlier. But you know, we have respect for them because they are the biggest game of our year, which happens to be the next game. That's the way we've always approached it. So, but with North Kansas City, they got a couple guys. 35 and 32, two players that can really play. Really, really good players. We got them pretty good the first time when we were here, but then when we went to their place, 1-point game going into the fourth quarter, had to kind of grind one out in the fourth. So if we would have maybe beat them by 15 plus 2 times, then maybe my sense is a little bit heightened to not have a letdown. But the fact that the second time we played them, if we didn't hit a couple key shots late, we would have lost. I think it'll get our guys' attention, and they've got a healthy respect for the fact that, you know, they are talented. They have won, you know, 10 games this year, and we need to make sure that we execute at our level, make them adjust to us instead of worrying too much about them.
What do you want to tell your players that you haven't had a chance to tell them?
Well, you know, it's a great question. I usually tell them most everything that's on my mind, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I think the thing that I'll certainly tell them this week as we get going is that we love them and just to relax and go play. Because nobody's going to put more pressure on themselves than those guys are going to put on themselves. And we just need to relax and go play. We've done it 25 times this year. 22 times it's ended up on the right result. And we're confident that this group cares enough and that they're going to play hard enough to give themselves a chance. We don't want any extraneous factors coming in and bothering them. Just tell them that we love them, relax, go perform, have fun doing it, and hope for the results to turn out the way we want them to.
How does it feel to win another conference championship?
Well, we've accomplished quite a bit, but you know, the conference title is important to us because when you see teams twice in a year, they're able to make adjustments, they're able to do things to you that take away your strengths, or they're able, you know, the rivalry games kind of take on more meaning. So when you see a team twice and have to beat them home and away, you've accomplished something. And then for us to do it the way we did it, going undefeated, and then finishing it on the road against the second best team in conference, who only had one loss, speaks volumes to our guys. And so I thrilled for them, and you know, another thing that they could check off that they've accomplished this year.
Coming into this game, bringing intensity is going to be really important since they've been close in the past. Do you think the players are going to bring that intensity by themselves, or are you going to have to prompt them?
No, if anything, I'm going to have to tell them to calm down. They'll be too excited. They'll be too geared up to play, and so getting them to calm down and perform at a level where they're in their best frame of mind, they're in their, they have the best focus they can, and they're not too excited. You know, I mean, we use a baseball analogy all the time. You know, we talk about, you know, you can't hit a grand slam with nobody on base. And sometimes guys want to make these great plays, these huge plays all the time, when the best play to make is the right one that's what's there. So if it means passing the ball when you feel like maybe you could force it, then that's what we want to do. If it means, you know, shooting because you're in good rhythm, then that's what we want you to do. And so if anything, we'll have to calm them down a little bit to get them to play. I'm not worried about that. Biggest thing I'm worried about is just making sure that we execute, you know, respect our opponent, execute, do the things we need to do to make it a good basketball game. So with that, I'll wrap it up. Big week with semifinal Thursday, and then depending upon the result, potential championship on Saturday. So hopefully, like we always do, we'll see a lot of you out and about and supporting us. And I know our guys are really excited to get out there and perform for all of you. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll see you on Thursday night.